It's no secret that immigration, and fears about it, fueled the vote for Brexit. But today an expert report makes extremely awkward reading for some of Leave's biggest champions, including ex-UKIP leader Nigel Farage. The Migration Advisory Committee concluded there should not be preferential treatment for EU migrants after 2020 compared to those from the rest of the world. And it said low-skilled workers should be limited, while higher-skilled ones should be encouraged. But while this may look like a Brexiteer's boon, it's not all one-sided at all. The report also picked apart a string of the most pervasive myths behind the Leave vote. We've highlighted some of the more illuminating passages, and compared them to quotes they directly contradict by one Mr. Nigel Farage. If only we had this in 2016, 1. EU migrants contribute £2,300 a year more to the UK than average Brits. Average adults from the EU contribute thousands more than average Brits. Image, Steve Bainbridge, Sunday People. What Nigel Farage said, we must be completely mad, as a country, to be giving people from Eastern Europe and work benefits. Even if I thought, which I don't, there was an economic benefit to mass immigration, some things are more important than money, namely the shape of our society and giving our own youngsters a chance to work. January 2014, what today's report says, the average adult migrant from the European Economic Area, EEA, contributed approximately £2,300 more to the UK public finances than the average adult resident in the UK. The average non-EEA migrant contributed around £840 less than the average adult resident in the UK. Far from being a drain on resources, the MAC found that European migrants, especially those from EU13, which makes up older members of the bloc, pay more in taxes than they receive in benefits and use in public services. It's only non-EU migrants, who are already subject to visa controls, who on average contribute less than native Brits. 2. EU migrants don't erode the quality of the NHS. The health service relies on EU migrants to work in it. Image, iStock photo. What Nigel Farage said, the problem we've got is a population crisis caused by government policy on immigration. The problem is we haven't got enough hospitals, we haven't got enough doctors, we haven't got enough facilities. Right now it's pretty much at breaking point. February 2018, what today's report says, EEA migrants contribute much more to the health service and the provision of social care and financial resources and through work than they consume in services. EEA workers are an increasing share of the health and social care workforces, though these sectors employ greater numbers of non-EEA migrants. There is no evidence that migration has reduced the quality of healthcare. 3. Migrants have had little impact on jobs for British citizens. Nigel Farage often caused controversy with his comments. Image, Rex, Shuttershock. What Nigel Farage said, I would rather we had communities that were rather more united and we had a situation where young unemployed British people had a realistic chance of getting a job. January 2014, what today's report says, in this report we assessed the impact of migration on the labour market, including on employment and wages. Taking all the new evidence into account, we found that migrants have no or little impact on the overall employment and unemployment outcomes of the UK-born workforce. The impact may vary across different UK-born groups, with more negative effects for the lower-skilled and more positive effects for the higher-skilled. However, our robustness checks suggest that these findings are subject to uncertainty. 4. Or wages for British citizens. Theresa May, and even Jeremy Corbyn, have talked of concerns over exploitation of foreign workers and wages being undercut. Image, Rex, Shuttershock. What Nigel Farage said, there is no question that immigration has pushed wage inflation down. It's helped big companies and big corporations and big landowners to make bigger profits. No argument about that. January 2014, what today's report says, in terms of wages, the existing evidence and the analysis we present in the report suggests that migration is not a major determinant of the wages of UK-born workers. We found some evidence suggesting that lower-skilled workers face a negative impact while higher-skilled workers benefit. However, the magnitude of the impacts are generally small. 5. Migrants are not the biggest reason Brits struggle to get a council house. Migration does have an effect on housing and house prices, but that's not the full picture. Image, Alamy. What Nigel Farage said, uncontrolled immigration has placed a huge strain on Britain's housing stock. March 2016. What today's report says. Here the report is more balanced in favor of Brexiteers, but it makes a very interesting read. It admits migration has increased house prices, but says this can't be seen in isolation from other government policies. It also admits increased migration has reduced the probability of UK-born being allocated to social housing. But although immigrants are more likely to demand social housing, they are less likely to be allocated it, the report says. And it adds, Manning et al. 2014, conclude that immigration can explain one-third of the reduction in the probability of a UK citizen being in social housing. But the reduction in the social housing stock itself has had by far the largest impact on UK-born households, explaining the remaining two-thirds of the reduction in the probability of a UK citizen being in social housing.